My name is Cesar Anthony Hernandez Jr., but I also go by Anthony Hernandez and a bunch of other stuff.
Like what?
GS Mumbo, Rexican, the Mexican, Poppy, a bunch of other stuff.
Okay. That'll be good for that one. Let's see. Would you like reset it every once in a while? So where did the inspiration come from your app that you're designing?
Pretty much I'm a big TV buff, so I love TV shows. I love the story, characters, etc. And I'm not the kind of person that can, watch one TV show and just jump in the middle and watch random things every now and then. I like to start at the beginning and kind of follow it as it progresses. And to do that, I kind of need to know where I'm at, in watching the show, what I still need to watch, information about the shows, things like that. And looking on the App Store, there's never really been anything that can really do that efficiently. So I started building my own app to kind of help me organize what shows I'm watching, when they show, where I'm at in the show, along with organizing some of the back end, because I like to organize a lot of stuff on the computer. So it kind of helps to keep everything on track with what I'm watching, along with what I'm doing on the computer.
Who's your target demographic going to be?
I would say probably late teens, early 20s maybe. Pretty much people that are really into TV and more than just, watching a show every day, but really into, like I said, the story and whatnot, which usually turns out to be, again, late teens to early 20s.
What, can you tell us more about the aspect of creating the app, like the development?
The development, I started off knowing a lot of C++ already, along with Java, using the iPhone development kit, the SDK.
Hold on, I'm gonna tilt it more to you. Okay. Let's go again. Can you tell us more about the development and the tools you've used to create this app?
Sure. Again, I know a lot of C++, Java, things like that. Using the software development kit for the iPhone is a little bit different. Uses kind of like a C programming, but with a lot of different changes. It's really been a pretty good experience. It lets you kind of storyboard everything to where you can visually see what's going on, but then add the code in the back end and kind of link everything together to make it work. But one of the biggest things that I've really enjoyed is writing for both the iPhone and the iPad at the same time.
Say that again.
One of the biggest things that I really enjoy is writing for both the iPhone and the iPad at the same time. Being able to write the same code that can work in both systems. It's been really fun.
Okay. What are your plans for releasing? Timeline, what?
Timeline right now, I'm finishing up some final touches on some of the back-end stuff, and then I can finally finish more of the front-end stuff. I'm looking at probably around a December, January release, most likely, on both the iPhone and the iPad.
What are you looking to... Can you mute that somehow or no? Okay. How much do you plan on listing your app for? Have you gotten that far yet?
I haven't quite decided yet. I'm thinking either 99 cents on the low end or $1.99 on the high end. It really depends. On some of the other apps, I kind of have a little bit of the same functionality, but not as much as I'm offering. I'm going to kind of price them a little bit, but I'm not to that point yet to where I really have a solidified price yet.
Okay. Let me see. Ow. Let's see. Do you have any ideas what your app's going to be called? Storyboard it. Just shout out a whole bunch.
Right now, the running title I'm going with is Mediaverse, kind of like your universe full of media. I've gone through a few different names in the past. Most of them are pretty horrible, but I haven't really decided on a final name yet. But right now, it's looking like Mediaverse or something kind of showing that it's not just TV shows, because that is kind of the primary focus of the app. It's also going to have movies, and in the future, maybe even music too. So something that kind of incorporates all different kinds of media into one app.
Let me think what else I need to ask. What are the tools that you've needed to create this app to your fullest?
The tools I've needed really have been, it's going to sound a little bit expensive, but an iMac and a MacBook Pro. Mainly for the fact that on my iMac, I like to do a lot of the hardcore development, the really, deep algorithms, things like that. When I'm on the go and I get a random idea that just pops into my head, I need to be able to put that into code as well. Along with that, the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5. Due to the fact that they changed the size of the iPhones, it helps having both devices to do accurate testing. Along with an iPad, because that's also going to be another target device for my app. Along with that, Xcode obviously is the actual programming software that I use to make the app. I think it's about it for resources.
I think. Anything else you can think that would be good in a promo?
No.
What do you hope that someone's reaction to whenever they download the app, regardless of how much they pay for it? What do you want their reaction to be?
I would hope that their initial reaction to it, once they open the app, once they add a show, and their very first show that they see added, or their very first movie too, I would hope that their reaction would be that this app is something that they could actually fit into their lives, that they could actually see themselves really getting engrossed in. And as they start to add more and more shows, more and more movies, they find it something that's going to be really beneficial to help them kind of keep track of their entertainment. Because, I mean, we're very busy people. We have a professional life and a home life, and the home life really, you know, it's a lot of fun watching TV and things like that. So I'd hope it definitely benefit them in that way.
Okay. Let me check something because I think it may have been out of focus like half the time. Okay, ready to go again? Okay, so what are some of the tools that you've used in order to create this app?
Well, it's going to sound a little bit expensive, but I have both a MacBook Pro and an iMac, and they're both instrumental in making the app. The iMac's where I do a lot of my, you know, kind of hardcore algorithms and a lot of the tweaking of the, you know, the actual code itself.
You and your phone, dang it!
Dong!
Not in a real. Alright. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the tools that you've used in order to get this app on the road?
Sure. Might sound a little bit expensive, but I do have both a Retina MacBook Pro and an iMac. And the iMac is mainly used, you know, when doing the hardcore coding, you know, algorithms, things like that. But a lot of times I'll be out and about in class, different places, and I might think of an idea that I want to throw in my app, and I don't have my iMac around. So that's where the Retina MacBook Pro comes into play, because I can add code whenever I want to. Aside from that, I do have an iPhone 4 and an iPhone 5. And an iPad, because I'm going to be developing for all three of those platforms. Along with that, the final piece of everything to kind of tie it all together is Xcode. That's kind of what lets me actually put in the programming, get everything ready, test it, and eventually submit it to the App Store.
Okay. Let's see. About how much time have you spent on this, and how much time do you think it's going to take to get out there?
Well, I started at the beginning of summer 2012, but it's not really a good accurate measure of time because I took a little bit of a hiatus after about a month and a half of working on it to focus on school, work, things like that. I recently picked up development again, so I'd say total maybe about 2.5 months time frame for when it might release. I'm looking at maybe around December, January-ish, somewhere around that time.
So when do you think your app is going to be released?
Probably December to January-ish of 2000. Sorry.
Just say holiday season 2012, right? End of 2000 or December 2012, maybe January 2013.
Okay.
Say something like that. Go.
Probably December 2012 if the world doesn't end, of course, and then or January 2013.
Okay, say that one more time because that was hilarious, but don't fuck up.
So that was hilarious, but don't fuck up.
Okay. So, when do you think your app is going to be released?
Probably around December 2012 if, you know, the world doesn't end, or January 2013.
Okay. That was fun. That's going to be good. Let's see. You should have nothing in your lap for some of it. I should be like, what kind of stereotypes do you think that programmers have? Well, usually they have cats and they're fat. I don't know where they get that from. You should do that.
No.
You should be like, usually everybody says they don't ever cut their hair and they pet cats all day. I don't know where they get that from.
What are the plans after an iPhone or iPad app? It's a good one, right?
Let's see, hold on.
Hey, what are you doing?
I can see that in the background.
Oh.
I'm not really gonna care, but.
Sound
okay.
good?
Okay, so what are your plans after you release this app?
Honestly, I just got a new Android phone today. And I'm looking to kind of port it over to Android, get it up and running on Android. But even beyond that, possibly, of course, some Mac apps to go along with it. But also Windows 8, because Windows 8 looks pretty awesome with their new design style. I'd really love to see my app on a Windows 8 machine.
Okay. Do you have any other ideas for any other apps after this one?
I have a few, not really ready to discuss them just yet, but they're more geared towards the workplace than entertainment and whatnot, but not ready to discuss that just yet.
Okay. Let's see. What have been the easiest parts and the hardest parts of developing the app?
The easiest part, I would say, would be getting the visual stuff all worked out, because it's a lot of just visually tweaking things, running on your phone and seeing kind of how it looks compared to what's on the screen. The hardest part, I would say, would be managing all the information I'm pulling from the internet. Because with an app like this, you're pulling information from TV database, IMDb, a lot of other different places, and to kind of network all that, bring it all in, and make sure it gets organized efficiently. It's probably one of the harder parts of the program, of the entire process.
Okay, something I forgot to do is explain your app. Just like...
Sure. So the way my app works is you open the app and you're presented with just a blank list and a few tabs on the bottom. What you do is you'd add a show, you put what show you want, it'll give you a list of suggestions. You pick the suggestion of the show out of the list, and once it adds, you'll have access to a bunch of information. You'll have when the show started, when the next episode is, an actual episode list where you can mark off which ones you've seen, which ones you haven't. It'll have cover art. It'll be pretty much everything you can imagine about that episode or about that TV show. It'll be right there for you. It'll also have the same thing for movies, obviously not with episodes, but it'll have release date, upcoming in theaters, things like that. Along with, if you manage some of your TV shows and movies online, I should be able to link into some of those functions too, to kind of provide you with one hub, one area where you can manage all your media. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and compile it. So when I go over here, I can hit run, and you're going to see a bar at the top kind of going through. What it's doing is it's getting all the code ready to send over to the phone, and it's sandboxing it. Everything's good here, so now what it's doing is it's sending it directly to the phone, so I can kind of see a live preview of what I've already have running. So as you can see here, I already have some shows added. As I go through it, you can actually click on a show. It'll bring up the information for the show, a list of episodes. I plan on having reviews. I haven't implemented that yet. But you can pretty much pull up all the information about that show and those episodes. It also has some other features down here that are going to be worked on in the future, but not quite ready yet.